Vaishali Siddhappa and welcome to my channel Complementary Economics, and today's class it's about tax. When tax is going to change, how government is going to react. The questions comes like explain the changes in taxes with the help of diagram. This is one of the 6-mark question, and this particular chapter you have for the 6 mark, so you have to go through better. Let's talk about the answer now. Whenever the tax is going to decrease, a cut in tax, that means the tax is going to decrease. In that case, disposable income is going to increase. What is disposable income? Whenever you're going to get the income, from income, if you're going to subtract the tax, you're going to get disposable income. So the disposable income is going to increase. I'll tell you how. Just imagine my income is 100 rupees. So now, instead of 10 rupees, the tax got reduced to 5 rupees. So now in 100, I'm going to use 95 rupees for my consumption instead of 90 rupees, because now tax got reduced from total income of mine, which is 100 rupees. If I subtract the 5 rupees, the left money will be 95, which I'm going to use it for my consumption. That's called disposable income. Whenever tax is going to decrease, like 10 rupees to 5, the tax got reduced, the disposable income is going to increase. So, y minus t is nothing but the formula to find out the disposable income. Each time whenever income is going to increase, the tax that's going to be affect that. This shift of aggregate expenditure schedule goes upward. Whenever the disposable income is going to increase, aggregate expenditure is also going to decrease. That means increase. That means I'm going to spend a lot of money on the consumption. So this way, by fraction C of decrease in the taxes is going to be decrease. So to analyze this, let's go with the formulas like government expenditure multiplier. To find out that, we have a formula which is called change in Y is equal to 1 by 1C minus C change in T. When tax is going to decrease, when induced consumption is going to decrease, 1 by C, which explains the multiplier. So that can be considered as a tax multiplier. This is the tax multiplier. Change in Y divided by change in T is equal to minus C divided by 1 minus C. So this can be the formula to use the tax multiplier. On the other side, you have the diagram. So let's analyze the diagram now. So this is the supply. So you're already aware of like 45 degrees. So this is the first aggregate demand curve. The first aggregate demand is going to intersect here with the supply curve. So we got the first equilibrium point. The income will be this. On the other side, when the tax is going to decrease, so we can see that consumption is going to increase. When consumption increases, the aggregate demand is also going to shift towards upward. Again, it is going to intersect with the supply curve in this particular point. This is called the second equilibrium, and this is the income which got increased. So this is the way how we are going to analyze this particular diagram. Because a tax cut, what we have, will cause an increase in the consumption. Tax cut, that means consumption is going to increase. A tax increases, the consumption is going to decrease. So this way, the tax multiplier is having negative multiplier. What is the meaning of negative multiplier? That means that both the variables are moving in the opposite direction. See here, tax is decreasing, consumption is increasing. On the other case, tax is increasing, consumption is decreasing. So tax and consumption, they both are moving in the opposite direction. So we call this particular multiplier, what we have, it is negative multiplier, because both the variables are moving in the opposite direction. So when both the variables are moving in the opposite direction, what we can find is the tax multiplier is smaller absolute when compared to the government spending multipliers. This is because an increase in government spending directly, if the government spending is going to increase directly affects the total spending. If the government spending is going to increase, everybody's spending is also going to be affected, where the taxes enter the multiplier process. With that, when process will be entered, their impact on disposable income will be influenced. If the total spending is going to increase, tax multiplier is going to introduced in it, so disposable income is also will be impacted. It's going to be changed, which influences the household consumption. Each and everybody's consumption, household means our consumption is also going to change, which is a part of total spending. The household consumption is also part of the total spending in this. With this, what we can understand is change in T, which is like reduction in the change taxes. Change means it can increase, it can decrease. So here what we are talking about, change in T, that means the taxes is reduced. So in this case, what is happening with the total spending? The total spending is going to increase. So what we can see is the total spending is going to increase, because whenever tax is going to decrease, we have to understand that total spending is also going to increase. They both are again moving in the different direction. So that we can understand with the help of one of the examples. So here you can see, I'll explain this particular slide with the help of next slide also. Please, MPC is 0.8. We have already studied what is MPC, marginal propensity to consume. When marginal propensity to consume is 0.8, government expenditure what we have, that is multiplier, we can analyze that like this: 1 by 1 minus C, 1 divided by 1 minus 0.8. 0.8 is nothing but the what got changed, this is a constant one, is equal to 1 by 0.2 is equal to 5. Increase in government spending by 100 rupees. The government spending is going to increase by 100 rupees. The equilibrium income will also increase by 500. The equilibrium income of everybody is also going to increase by 500. So that we can analyze like 1 by 1 minus C, change in government is equal to 5 into 100. So the tax multiplier is given by like minus C divided by 1 minus C is equal to minus 0.8. 1 minus 0.8 is equal to minus 0.8 divided by 0.2 is equal to 4. So in this way, the tax cut of 100 rupees, 100, the change in T is equal to minus 100 will increase the equilibrium income by 400. Thus equilibrium income increases in case by less than the amount by which C increased under government increases. G is nothing but the government increases. To understand this, we have one more explanation of it to understand the exact previous slide. If we take a different values, the marginal propensity consume and calculate the values of two multipliers, we find that the tax multiplier is always 1 less in absolute value than the government expenditure multiplier. This has been interesting implication. Let's talk about this, how exactly it's going to work. If an increase in the government spending, just imagine the government spending is going to increase. We have to match that with equal increase in the taxes. The taxes also should increase. So that we can budget remains balanced. Balanced budget I'm talking about. If the government spending is increasing for 100 rupees, so we should work very hard to increase tax also for 100 rupees. So then both will be again equal, so we can go with the budget, balanced budget, instead of going with the deficit. Output will raise by the amount of the increase in the government spending. Adding the two policy multiplier gives the two policies. Government spending should increase. If it is increasing, tax should increase. To explain that, we have a formula which is like government, the balanced budget multiplier. This is a balanced budget multiplier. Change in y divided by change in g is equal to 1 by 1 minus c plus minus c. 1 minus c is equal to 1 minus c divided by 1 minus c is equal to 1. So this is a balanced budget. Whenever you will get 1, that means it is the pure example of balanced budget. Government don't want to reduce the spending, so it's okay, spend 100 rupees. If you are spending 100 rupees, try to collect the same amount as a tax, so then both are going to match. Through this we can go with balanced budget. So this is the balanced budget multiplier formula what we have here. So government spending and taxes should be equal to other. To explain this, let me go with few of the explanation also. A balanced budget multiplier of unity implies that 100 increase in the government. If the government is increase 100 rupees financed by 100 increase in the tax should also increase 100 rupees. Income by just 100. This can be seen from example what I have explained just now with the example of a lot of formulas, which is like 500, marginal propensity consumed that I have taken, where an increase in government 100, increase in the output 500, the output should increase by 500, a tax increase would reduce income by 400, so 400 will be cut off. Because of that, the net increase of income will be equal to the 100 rupees. The equilibrium income which refers to the final income that one arrives at the period of sufficiently long for all the rounds of the multipliers to work themselves out. So we find that output increases by exactly the amount of increase G with no induced consumption. With no induced consumption, what is going to happen is spending due to increase in the taxes. To see why balanced budget multiplier is 1, because no induced consumption is spending, but taxes still is equal to government spending. To show that why balanced budget is multiplier is equal to 1. To prove that, to examine that multiplier process, the increase in government spending by a certain amount raises income by the amount directly and then indirectly through a multiplier chain. So let's see how it's going to be increased. The formula change in y is equal to change in government income, the government spending. So induced one. So induced one, continuous process. So this will till the last round. What we can see is one or the other way, the government spending will be equal to the taxes. But the tax increases only enters the multiply process when the cut in the disposable income. When you're going to cut the disposable income, that reduces the consumption. That reduces consumption by C, the smaller c, times, and the reduction in the taxes also going to reduce. Thus the effect on income of the tax increases in the given by. In this case, the formula which we are going to introduce here, change in y minus change in t c2 c square change in t plus is equal to change in t c plus c square plus dot dot. So in this case, the difference between the two gives the net effect on income. It's called as a net effect on income, since change in t, change in g and change in t, we have to talk about that change in y and the change in government also. Income is going to change, so government spending is also going to change. Government spending is going to change, so tax is also going to change. So it's one or the one related. The income increases by an amount by which government spending increases, and the balanced budget multiplier will be completely equal to the 1. The unity part. Unity is nothing but the 1. The multiplier can also be calculated like this. So we have here change in y, change in g plus c, change in y, change in t. There is no change in investment. We have to think here, there is no change in investment. That's the reason why it is 0. We have to assume if you are going with this formula, we have to assume that change in I, that means there is no change in the investment. The change in investment is 0. Change in G is equal to change in T. On the other side, change in Y by change in G is equal to 1 minus C. 1 minus C is equal to 1. So this way, this question is quite complicated with a lot of formulas. To understand this, you need a lot of depth of it. So if you want to really learn this for the only exam purpose, that is better. So you just have to by heart few of the formulas. So I hope you understood the concept. If you really like my video, please subscribe and share. Thank you so much.